Welcome back. Thanks for staying on. The independent panel set up to investigate the Phala Phala farm robbery will have 30 days to complete its work. That's the word from National Assembly Speaker Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula. Political parties have until the 1st of September to submit names of their nominated members for the panel. Members of the panel will then be announced on the 2nd of September. Joining us now for reaction is the leader of the African Transformation Movement, Vuyolwethu Zungula. Good to have you with us, and thank you very much for your time. When you look at some of these processes of the National Assembly, considering the fact that you were on recess, you are just returning, it looks once again that the program is moving closer and closer to coincide somewhat with the elections of the African National Congress. Are you at all worried about that? Do you think that is deliberate, or do you think, as per your wish, you would have wanted this process to have happened before that?
Definitely, Thabo. Look, we initiated this Section 89 early June, and we've been communicating with the Speaker, expressing our frustration on the fact that it's taking a bit of time. So for us, it's not about the ANC elected Congress. For us, it is about accountability, and accountability that should have happened in June already. You'll recall that in May, we even asked the Speaker that the question and answer session that was scheduled for the next term must be moved up, so that Mr. Ramaphosa accounts to Parliament in May already. So on the issue of accountability, we've always wanted Mr. Ramaphosa to account, because these are serious, grave transgressions to the law that should not happen at the hands of the head of state, someone who's entrusted to appoint people in critical positions, someone who's entrusted to safeguard the interests of the country. So, hence we wanted Mr. Ramaphosa to give the nation confidence that, number one, he's done nothing wrong, and he must account so that the opposition parties and the general society has confidence that the person who they call the number one citizen is, in fact, not a lawbreaker, but the manner in which it has been handled by him, Ramaphosa, Parliament, as well as all of the law enforcement institution, gives an impression of a cover-up, an impression that there is more that meets the eye, and it is up to us as the members of Parliament, particularly from the opposition parties, to enforce accountability.
In terms of reference, have they been clarified for you, one, but also secondly, what are you looking for, especially in the various names that have been nominated to be on that panel?
The political parties, opposition political parties that have a forum, met last week. You'll recall that we had a joint press conference where we announced 4 names that we think are independent people that could be trusted to be independent in the entire process. We do not want people who've already pronounced on the issue. There's one person who even said the president is not accused of corruption. So such people have automatically disqualified themselves, because they've clearly stated or clearly shown that they are biased, and they've got a bias that is favorable towards the current president. So we want people that will affirm the law in accordance to the Constitution, because Section 89, it is not a matter of feelings. What we put through as reasons for the Section 89, it was not a matter of our feelings, but it was well-known transgressions to the law versus what the law expects of a president or a member of cabinet. So that is why it should be easy for them to say there have been violations, because Section 34(1) of PRECA states that every person has got a responsibility of reporting any corrupt activity or theft that is above 100,000. And we know that the president has not done that. Section 96 of the Constitution is very clear when it talks to abuse of power, that a person or a president must not put himself in a risk of abusing state resources for private gain. It is very clear that Mr. Ramaphosa instructed the head of his protection unit to investigate a theft on his private farm. It has got nothing to do with the mandate of the protection unit, the mandate of the police to investigate the theft in that private farm. the relevant police unit should have been requested. The law is very clear again when it speaks to how once you are in cabinet, you cannot undertake paid work in accordance to Section 96 of the Constitution. However, the President has come out openly to state that indeed what was lost there or what was stolen there, it was as a result or money that was gotten through the selling of animals. And there was a subsequent video where he says, as a president of the Uncalled Society, he prides himself. The other president, meaning the president of the country, is just something else. So the transgressions are there and they are well known. The Constitution is there. So we just need sober people, independent people that will affirm the law.
Yeah. Are you willing, let me put it that way, as the ATM to abide by whatever outcome from that panel? Because this is a panel that will need to decide if indeed in your papers you have made that case sufficiently enough and there is enough evidence of those things that you're saying are in violation of the law of the country. But if matters do not go your way, are you willing to abide by that outcome?
It is not a matter of matters going our way, but it is a matter of what the Constitution is saying and the transgression. Let me put it this way. If someone can shoot another person in broad daylight, there's evidence of that person shooting, and the judge says, actually, this person was, it was an accident, or, it was in self-defense. Therefore, we as the citizens have a right to say, but no, there's something wrong in that particular judgment because there's evidence that proves that something else transpired either than what the judge is saying. So even in this case, it is very clear that transgressions to the law. It has been confirmed by himself, Mr. Ramaphosa, in separate occasions, including the tweets that he sent out. Therefore, if there is cover-up in that particular aspect, because clearly there's cover-up in the parts of SARS, of the Hawks, of the Reserve Bank, of the Office of the Public Protector. Therefore, if we get another cover-up in the parliamentary process, we'll have no option either than to challenge that process because, Thabo, let me make it clear, there can never be peace in our country if there is no justice. And there is no justice when laws are applied selectively. And if Mr. Ramaphosa is favorable or is favorably considered amongst certain circles in our country, therefore is going to be protected by all means. And if it means destruction of our country's institutions, we as a people have a responsibility of rising and protecting our country, because once there is no justice, there can never be peace. Once there is no peace, then there can never be stability, because people will never respect the law. Therefore, if that independent panel makes a judgment that does not inspire confidence in the eyes of the people that are knowledgeable about the facts and the law and what has transpired, then they are also calling for something that would lead to instability in our country.
Vuyolwethu Zungula, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming on. That's the leader there of ATM, the African Transformation Movement, following Parliament's announcement earlier today that they are looking at speeding up the process of setting up a Section 89 panel that will be looking at the removal of President Cyril Ramaphosa. Of course, a motion that has been sponsored and brought by ATM.